Hello. First of all, I'm sick, so if I sound weird or make weird snort noises throughout the video or cough, you know why. Anyways, today we're gonna get into one specific change that could potentially change Spellbreak completely for the better, obviously, because that's kind of what we want. We don't want it the other way around, right? So anyways, one of those things is, how do we get players to return weekly? How do we get players to return 2 weeks, 3 weeks, monthly, whatever? There are multiple different ways you can do this. We're gonna talk about quests first. We're gonna talk about casual gameplay. We're gonna talk about competitive gameplay and go from there. First, I want to thank Spellbreak for sponsoring this video. So thank you. In the prologue in chapter 1 and chapter 2, story quests used to be bound weekly. So you would have to do them within that week. You had to wait for the next week to do the next ones. If you didn't hit them in that week, they were gone. You had to wait. You didn't know the story until the very end of the chapter. In chapter 3, they changed that. Now you just do them whenever you want to. You can go from 1 to 33 almost instantaneously. Yes, it kind of screwed our weekly videos up a little bit, but it's okay. We did 2 videos breaking down the quests. You can find them down below if you want to. Anyways, one thing that I think that this destroyed was bringing people back to do quests weekly. I mean, it was something to look forward to every single week. I understand the point of, like, the change was made so that people who came in later on in the chapter didn't feel alienated and would understand the whole story, right? Because you couldn't go back to do the quests, you could only go forward, so you didn't know the beginning of the story if you came in late. You only knew the end of it, which who wants to come in the middle of a story and try to finish them out? So there probably wasn't a lot of need or want to do it that way. However, now you can do all the quests whenever you want to. Whether you come in at the beginning of the chapter, you can do them in the first weekend, or you come at the very end of the chapter, you can do them in the last weekend. One thing that I do like about this change is that when you come in late, you can do all of the quests. You're not gonna get shorted on the story. The thing I don't like is that you do them all at the beginning and then you have nothing else to look forward to. Yes, you can pace yourself, but who has self-control like that? No one has that kind of self-control. You're just gonna do them and you're gonna do them all the way through. You're gonna get all the rewards and you're gonna move on with it. Basically, no longer having any kind of reason to come back, because these quests also affect the chapter pass. So if you got the chapter pass and you do all of these quests, you're gonna get all the experience and you're probably gonna finish the chapter pass by the time you finish these quests. And so you basically have nothing to do but grind rank Dominion, which we'll talk about that in a second, or just play casual games in the BR. So you don't really have my specific change would be make them come out weekly, but don't lock the old ones. Like, if they come in later, you can have all of the ones up until that point done, and they can just go back and do all of those, but you know, have the ones forward locked still. I don't know if that's like something that is kind of it could be something that's not really feasible at the moment, but that's my idea and that's how I do that. When it comes to casual gaming, casual gamers want to be able to jump in the game, play a game or two, and kind of just be done with the game for the night, have a good night, and come back the next day or the next week or whatever and come back into it. Currently, the game has an MMR system, so that does help them, I think, a little bit. Or you're gonna get stuck in that MMR that you are at, and then when you come back a week from now, you're gonna be in the same MMR, you're gonna be rusty, and you're probably gonna lose some or whatnot. I just don't think that MMR in this game is really, for casual gameplay, not really something you should do. But if they have a weekly, let's say, like, well, I guess the quest counts, but let's say like a weekly skin thing or a shop thing that comes out that you have to do, like they bring in like an artifact this week that you have to go and do certain quests for, and you do it, or you have like a badge that you have to get this week, which is what they kind of did in the story quest, was badges, but this will be different maybe. Casual kind of goes in with the quests as well, but the main meat and potatoes of this video is going to be like more of the competitive side, more of the, because this is a player v player game. Everyone that's playing this game is probably a little bit competitive. You're playing this game to play against other players, so whether you're amazing at this game or you're brand new, you're playing it to play against other players. So you want to be a little bit competitive with this game. Something that I think a lot of games do right now is they do a bunch of weekly tournaments or weekly cups and stuff like that. To name one, I know this was not made by Fortnite themselves, but Fortnite Fridays was something that brought a bunch of streamers, a bunch of competitive players together every week. It brought a lot of hype. It brought a lot of incentive to play the game. It just brought people back weekly, and that's something that Spellbreak has an issue with right now. Is there's really nothing that's keeping people coming back weekly. I don't think there's anything, because currently right now there's not even new skins. There hasn't been any new skins for chapter 3. We're in chapter 3, yeah. There hasn't been these new skins since chapter 3. That will be changing with chapter 4. Or not chapter 4. This is going to be changing with 4.1, which is the mid-chapter patch for chapter 3, because chapter 3 was 4.0. Yes, I know it's confusing. Prologue was patch 1.0, and chapter 1 was patch 2.0, which was after Prologue. I know it's confusing. Anyways, we will be getting some skins in the shop, starting with that 4.1 patch, which is going to be the beginning of September, which is still chapter 3. So Fortnite Fridays was a thing, but then they also brought it down into their cups, and like they do all of these like duos cups, duos arenas, duos whatever, trios cups. I don't play Fortnite, so if some of this is wrong, I'm sorry. So, you know, like individual words might be wrong, or like, but the sentiment is still there, right? So it's like they do these cups where you have to unlock enough points in a certain amount of games, and if you get to the top, you get rewards, blah blah blah. You get notoriety. You might do some other things with it. One specific thing that I know that they did was they did a Daredevil cup. So the Daredevil skin from Marvel. You had to be at the top if you played the certain amount of games. You had the most points. You're at the top of the Daredevil cup, and you got the skin. Granted, they did throw the skin later on in the store, which I think this is kind of a cool way to like incentivize or not incentivize, advertise the skin to be in the shop. Is you see some people playing it because they got to the top of the Daredevil cup. I think that's awesome. Things like that is super freaking cool that they come back weekly for these things, or monthly, or a specific mode that is there for a week out of the month, or every other week out of the month. Anyways, I know this video is probably just me rambling, but we haven't really done a rambling video in a while about me just kind of talking about things that I want changed. Speaking of, like right now, it would be really nice if there was a ranked duos mode so that you could climb the leaderboards in the ranked duos and get some rewards from doing that, because right now ranked Dominion just isn't something that I think entices people. I don't think it's something that people want to really rank up with, but if they did a weekly leaderboard for ranked duos, people who grinded the most, who got up the highest level, who maybe did the most I don't know, you know, weekly stuff, monthly stuff, something to look forward to in the next week, not just, hey, I played the game from day 1 of chapter 3 to day, I don't know, however many, 90, math, I don't know, 3 months, 12 weeks? I don't know what that means. You get my point, right? I just really think that I really think that one thing that a weekly competitive tournament or a monthly competitive tournament that we would really do, that I don't think a lot of people have really thought about, is potentially harboring a community outside of smaller competitive communities, if that makes any sense. Like right now we have Element, and Element's great. However, there might be people who are intimidated by a large group of competitive players that have been here for really the beginning of Spellbreak. So this is a way for people who may not want to maybe force themselves into a group of people that have been around for a while, but have their name kind of grow, get some notoriety without, you know, fear, really, in any type of way. But it would foster that community outside of other communities. It would make one bigger community, because right now in Spellbreak we have a lot of really small communities, and a lot of the small communities do kind of overlap and kind of flow together. But for the most part, it's not really just like one giant community. Because we don't have leaderboards, we don't have weekly things, we don't know really what people outside of the small core community are really thinking or wanting to play. So I just think that's one other small little point that I wanted to point out there. I also kind of want to throw out that like rewards for these tournaments don't have to necessarily be cosmetic rewards. They could just be level rank bonuses or experience bonuses, or I don't know, like anything in that realm. You don't just have to get free stuff for playing the game, but like XP helps in a lot of realms. We also at some point are going to be getting a new mastery system. They changed the way that the class mastery works now. I think at the end of chapter 1 or maybe the beginning of chapter 2, so that everyone could get all of the rewards for the class mastery. So that when they change it, it's not like such a blow, because people were grinding for forever to get these things. So when those come out, ranked could give bonuses for XP for that. Like there's so many things that they could do with this, especially if they bring in guilds and stuff like that could help. Guys, I know this video is probably me just rambling and not really making a lot of sense, but tell me what you think about it down below, or come to stream. I might be live back at this point. I might be getting more sick. I'm not really sure. Tell me down below, because I don't know when the stream is. But I love you guys. Love yourself, and have a great day. Peace.